In this video, we're going over exactly how I grew my Instagram up to over 25,000 followers. Hey guys, welcome back to Common Lab, where you're joining me on my journey to make $1 million. On this channel, we follow all sorts of hustles, making money, investing in different social media strategies. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And with that said, how did I manage to grow my Instagram page to over 25,000 followers? Well, let me tell you that it all happened in about under 6 months, and this is very recent. This is all in 2019, and it is still possible to do today. I want to give you exactly the steps that I took, exactly how I did it, and hopefully you guys can go ahead and implement some of these strategies yourself to grow your own pages. So throughout this video, I'll try to throw up some screen captures on either side of the screen, kind of explaining what I'm talking about. However, when I started back about 6 months ago, I only had about 1,500 followers. Now, for anybody who wants to debate, that's why I grew up to 25,000 so fast. Just as another example, I started another page at the exact same time with 0 followers. So there's 2 pages I actually started to grow, and these types of pages were known as theme pages. So I had 2 pages, one in the video game niche, which is actually behind my entire video game store. That's why I wanted to develop that page. And then one in the car niche, that was more sort of just for fun and to see where it would go. So the video game one was the one with 1,500 followers, the car one was the one with 0. So the idea behind a theme page is basically that it's going to be a repost page. I don't know if you've heard of them before on Instagram, if you've seen lots of pages posting a whole bunch of content that you may have seen before. Those are usually repost pages. They generally can grow a large following very quickly because they're taking content that's already proven to perform well, and then they're reposting it on their page. Now this tends to work really well because you're giving not only the person that created the content publicity through your page, but you're also allowing it to provide content for your own page. The number one thing that you want to remember, first of all, while you're doing this, is that you always want to provide credit to the actual person that posted the original picture, the person that created that content. As long as you're doing that though, it's completely allowed, and people actually really appreciate it when you do it. So that's how this started, and with my initial strategy, my goal was to post 7 times a day, a rather ambitious strategy, on each one of my pages, starting on day 1. So initially when I started, I would just look for posts that were the top performing posts, generally speaking on the Explore page, with a high number of likes in a low amount of time. Now that seemed to do pretty well, and I think my 4th post that I did on my video game page, it did over 500 likes, and within the first couple days on my car page, I had a post that did over 1,000 likes. Now the video game page sort of grew slowly at first. I started kind of picking up almost 50 to 100 followers within the first week or so, which was just ridiculous to me. It was a really cool growth strategy, again, 7 times a day, and the posts were all from the Explore page with a high like ratio, and generally speaking, that was what was performing well on my page. Going through, as we got into about a month in, I had done some posts, I had done well over 1,000 likes, eventually over 2,000 likes, and eventually over 5,000 likes, and it just started exponentially growing like so. The car page grew a little bit slower, but I think the video game page had a little bit of an advantage as it was already at the 1,500 follower mark. It kind of grew to its first 3,000 or 4,000 followers, and that's when it started to see some very quick growth. All of a sudden I was picking up, and each week I was gaining an additional 100 followers or so that I was gaining on that total for that week. So it was like 600 followers that week. Next week I gained 700, next week after that 800, 900, and it went all the way up to 1,500 followers. Then additionally on the car page, it was doing about 100 followers a week, and then eventually got up to 1,000, then around 2,000, 3,000, and it just kept growing sort of at that rate. It didn't exponentially grow actually around the 100 follower mark. It kind of stuck around there pretty steady. And then unfortunately something happened. Me being in Canada here, they removed the like feature on Instagram. So no longer could I see the likes for each one of the posts that I was doing, putting up on the repost page. So I immediately did see quite the engagement drop. I kind of went down to around the 1,000 follower mark again, kind of dropped under it I think for a little bit too, around the 900 mark. My impressions generally speaking were almost up to that 1,000,000 mark in that time period. I think I was around 900,000, something like that. So I think I dropped down to maybe 700,000. Anyway, I very quickly realized you can actually go ahead and view likes still on the web version. So every morning I would get up, I'd pick out 7 posts from the web version, and then again my engagement picked up. So I think it was around the point when I had 20,000 followers or just so back in September, maybe mid-September, early October, and then that's when they put out the new update, of course, which killed the engagement. And this update really did hurt quite a bit. I was at about 5,500 followers on the car page, and I had just, again, maybe over 20,000 followers on the video game page at this point. Grew very quick overall. Really all I did was post 7 times a day on these repost pages from posts that, again, I saw on the Explore page. Occasionally I started seeing things. I started following a whole bunch of people in my niche, started seeing posts come up in just my normal feed, and I was posting some of those, but generally speaking, most of my engagement was coming from posts from the Explore page. Anyway, the engagement drop did hit. It hurt pretty bad. My engagement was cut in about half, so I went from about doing 1,400 followers to about 700 followers a week. And I went from about almost 1 million impressions to now about 500,000. And the car page almost froze completely. It was like a shadow ban just taking place. Like it just was not growing at all. It was not good. So yeah, that kind of sucked. Anyway, I dealt with that for about the last month and a half or so, and it's just now that I'm finally starting to see the engagement really pick back up again. I had got my engagement up to around the 750,000 impression mark, and now I think I've just crossed over the 1,300 followers a week mark, which is incredible because considering the new engagement drops, this is quite surprising to me that I'm still able to do it. As well as that my car page has slowly started to gain some following as well and started to get a little bit more engagement. I recently had a post on the video game page, however, do over 180,000 impressions and 8,000 likes or something along those lines. So that was pretty cool as well. But that leads me to where I am today. I think I'm at 27 point something followers on the video game page and just almost 6,000 followers on the car page. And this journey is still ongoing for me. I mean, I'm still, again, fairly new in this sector. I have started to monetize the pages a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out ways I can monetize them to another level. But I really did want to share this because this really wasn't rocket science on my part. I had tried to grow on a ton of different social media platforms using a whole bunch of different strategies, and this seemed to be the one thing that I had finally gotten to work. So it was a major breakthrough point for me. I've been on YouTube for the last 3 years and haven't had much success with that, with a video game page and with other pages like so. So this was something really cool to see that actually kind of worked. So if you want to replicate this strategy, really the only important thing that I would say to do today, I think it's totally still possible. I think the goal would be to get, again, 7 really good posts. I mean, these posts, as much as you don't think they're important because you're doing 7 of them every day, all the time, it's the 7 posts or the last kind of 6 posts that people will see in your feed every day. So if you don't have those as the top posts, then people aren't going to follow your page. So ideally you have always really great content coming on your page. I think that's a super important point to get people to follow you. So just make sure that your 7 posts, if you're doing 7 posts every single day, they're well curated, they're high performing, and they're already kind of proven to have performed well on the Explore page, and you think that they'll do the same for your page. Now this isn't easy. I guarantee that anybody that tries this will quit within about a week because as I was doing it here and still to the day, it is very difficult to find this kind of time to post every single day. I post every 2 hours. I try from 8 to 8 at night, and that leaves time for 7 posts. I try never to miss one, but again, it does get pretty difficult, and if you're out doing stuff all the time, this becomes a real pain in the butt. So I think ultimately you have to really want it. Also, when you're just starting out, it helps to really engage with other pages. I have another video on the channel talking about how I grew in 6 months, which really goes into detail about sort of getting your first 5,000 followers and all the way up to your 20,000 followers. But it kind of goes more into the strategy, and I highly recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link down below to it. But there's a whole bunch more strategies which you can implement on your page, which I did implement in addition to the 7 posts to help grow engagement. But I have no doubt that if you just go along with these 7 posts in a specific niche, mind you, I don't really think I talked about that too much here yet, but it does have to be within one specific niche. I highly recommend sticking to one thing. Generally speaking though, if you do that, I think there's no reason why you couldn't grow a page to the size page that I've grown it to, or even larger using this strategy. And there we go, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I wanted to just come on here and really explain, because I'm sure there's some people wondering how exactly I just went ahead and did it. Because I know I talk about strategy sometimes as to how I grow the pages, but this is more exactly how I executed on the page and how I grew. Pretty simple stuff, honestly. It's just between the posts, I did some story stuff as well and some other additional stuff, but really the growth comes from the regular posts. And with that all said and done, I'm going to be coming out with a video soon with regards to how I actually managed to monetize those pages. And that just sort of happened or started happening in the last couple months. So again, pretty new for me, but I do want to talk about some of the potential opportunities there and how I was able to capitalize on them. Anyway, with that all said and done, if you guys did enjoy this video and like this kind of content, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, like this video, and even leave in a comment, let me know if you're going to actually try this strategy out for yourself on your own page. And with that, I'll end this video there. Thanks so much for watching.